Volcanoes seem like the most obvious place to stay away from, and yet people seem to be drawn to them. Maybe it's their massive size, or maybe it's the molten lava which flows through the crater. For some reason or other, hordes of tourists love to catch a close glimpse of these lava-spewing mountains. But sometimes things can go wrong, really wrong, like people accidentally falling into them. Let's just say that some of them actually make it out alive. Here are 10 people who fell into volcanoes, and it wasn't nice. Before we get started, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more such amazing content. Number 10. Family falls into volcano. There are plenty of reasons why volcanoes are not safe to visit, no matter how cool they might look. Because of their popularity and allure, a lot of volcanoes around the world are open to public for tourism purposes. Though these places generally have safety signs all around, sometimes that isn't enough to prevent certain accidents. This is the story of a family who perished in a volcano near Naples in Italy. The Solfatara crater is part of the Phlegraean Fields, which is a large volcano situated west of Naples. It all started when an 11-year-old boy ventured too far from the safety barrier and fell into the Solfatara crater. The panicking parents ran to his rescue, but unfortunately they too perished in the process. According to a news report, it's unclear on whether the family died from the excess toxic gases or the molten lava beneath them. Soon after the accident, an emergency team came to the scene, but unfortunately nothing much could be done. There's almost no way to save someone if they fall into a crater. The family is survived by their 7-year-old son. Number 9. First person to fall into Mount Saint Helens. Sometimes accidents can happen, but with a miracle at the end of it. This incident happened in April of 2008 when longtime UPS driver John Slemp became the first person to fall into the crater of Mount Saint Helens in Washington state. He had taken his snowmobile with his son and a friend all the way to the peak of the mountain. Upon reaching the summit, they decided to sneak a peek over the crater while resting over some overhanging snow on the top. Out of nowhere, the snow gave way and John fell a good 150 feet into the crater before resting on a snowbank. He got up and dusted himself off, but unfortunately the snowbank under him fell through again, and he came plummeting another 1,300 feet. Luckily, he wasn't injured, and there was no lava where he fell. Soon after, a rescue team was called and John was helicoptered out of the crater into safety. Because he was wearing a helmet and a heavy suit, he didn't suffer any injuries and came out of this incident unscathed. What a lucky guy. Number 8. Gopro Volcano Dive. If going up to an active volcano as a tourist wasn't enough, some people push the envelope even further. It's hard to say if George Kourounis is a hero or just plain crazy. Back in 2019, George descended into the Marum crater located in the South Pacific. Armed with a GoPro and a silver heat-proof suit, he wanted to dive deep into this volcano and be as close as possible to the lava. He was able to get a lot of footage using his GoPro in hand and the surrounding cameraman near the rim. He descended about 1,200 feet down and was greeted by intense heat and acid rain. He came so close to the bubbling lava below that a bit of it splashed on his suit and made a hole in it. Even one of his cameras was damaged during the descent. Even though he was looking at death straight in the face, George managed to stay calm through the whole thing and came out of it in one piece. What a beast. Number 7. Vacation gone wrong. The island of Bali in Indonesia is a tourist dream spot, filled with beautiful stretches of rice paddies, beaches, coral reefs and forested volcanic mountains. You'll never be short of finding places to explore. The island receives millions of tourists and many are drawn to this place for its various volcanoes. You see, Indonesia sits on the Ring of Fire. In other words, it's one of the most geologically active places on the planet. They have 76 active volcanoes around, so you can imagine that the land beneath Indonesia is very much alive and breathing. Unfortunately, in this story you hear about how treacherous this country can be. A Swedish tourist fell to his death when he and his friends decided to hike and walk the rim of Mount Batur. The rim of the crater is about 5,633 feet above sea level and is another active volcano in the region. The tourist lost his balance while walking around the edge and fell 500 feet straight down. It's reported that he died from the impact. The rescue team was able to recover his body after battling poor weather conditions. The last eruption of Mount Batur was in 2000, and it's very much likely to go off again anytime in the near future. Number 6. Death in the Congo. The world is obsessed with selfies. It's part of our life and culture. There's no way around it, and you can't avoid it. There seems to be a drive to get these selfies taken no matter where you are, and many do it for some social recognition. Sadly, this next story is about a woman who died because of a selfie mishap. You'd be surprised to know that even the Democratic Republic of Congo has its own volcano. The Congo is an active volcano near the border of Rwanda, and Hong Kong resident Cecilia Cheng Siu-Yan decided to scale it. Once she reached the top, she was trying to get a selfie with the molten lava behind her. In pursuit of the perfect shot, Cecilia made a misstep and fell 300 feet into the crater, stopping at the very edge of the massive lava lake. She was stuck inside the crater for far too long and eventually ended up dying because of the heat and the noxious gases. It's unfortunate and serves as a reminder on how treacherous volcanoes are, and we should be extremely careful when near or on top of them. Number 5. Body shaming fall of death. Okay, this one isn't exactly a volcano story, but still a scary one. Carissa Miller and her friend Melissa Kozlowski went ice fishing in the freezing waters of St. Clair. But things took a turn when Carissa slipped, banged her knee, and then fell into the freezing waters. She fell into a part of the lake which was 12 feet deep. Soon, she was completely drenched in cold water and her legs became completely numb. She tried to get out of the water with the help of Melissa, but since her feet were numb, it became an impossible task. After a lot of struggling along, and even with the help of 2 nearby fishermen, they had to resort to calling the local sheriff department. The county sheriff and the local fire department finally managed to pull Carissa to safety. The story doesn't end there. The sheriff records the whole rescue operation and uploads it on social media to show as an example that ice fishing isn't safe. It seems people didn't want to focus on the fact that a life was saved, but rather focused on trolling and shaming someone. Carissa came out of the incident safe, but the hate she received was unwarranted. Number 4. New Zealand volcano disaster. The White Island is New Zealand's most active cone volcano. Even though it's an active volcano, it's also a popular tourist spot. On 9th of December 2019, the Wakari, or the White Island volcano, erupted. At the time of the eruption, there were 47 tourists on the island who were part of a tour group. The unexpected blast took all the neighboring visitors by surprise. The huge smoke cloud engulfed most of the nearby areas, and a few tourists can be seen trying to escape the smoke in their tour boats. The White Island incident injured 47 people and claimed the lives of 22. It took rescue crews close to 2 weeks to find all the victims of this incident. It kinda makes you wonder how unpredictable these volcanoes are and how we take them for granted. It's probably best to appreciate them from a distance. Number 3. Flying over a volcano. So far, we've covered stories of people accidentally falling into volcanoes or maybe even pushing it a little too far through risky behaviors, but this might just take the cake for being the craziest. You might have seen videos of wingsuit divers jump off cliffs and gliding across a valley in a death-defying performance. What if you bring the wingsuit jump and a volcano together? Sounds just too crazy to even imagine, but that's exactly what Italian model and thrill seeker Roberta Mancino did. She jumped off a helicopter at 15,000 feet in the air and then flew over one of the most active volcanoes in Chile, the Villa Rica. She could smell the smoke and the heat from the crater while flying over the volcano. Long-term dream of Mancino, she made it a reality in 2016, and what a crazy stunt it was. Number 2. Dead in the Kilauea crater. Unfortunately, accidents aren't the only kind of fatalities that are witnessed around volcanoes. Suicides are also common. This story happened in the Kilauea crater in Hawaii when 38-year-old Leo Adonis jumped to his death. Few hikers around the rim trail found a backpack with a note which was left by Adonis. Hikers then reported to the local law enforcement and sent a helicopter to find the man. They recovered his body on a Sunday morning. Adonis's dad told the Hawaii Tribune Herald that his son was having emotional troubles for the past few years, and it probably led to his death. He also mentioned that Adonis really loved Hawaii. May he rest in peace. Number 1. Volcano Survivor. There is one exceptional volcano which might let you get away even if you fall into it, if you're quick enough, that is. The Oldonyo Lengai volcano in Tanzania is truly one of a kind. The lava is so cold that it actually is black and not the classic orange color. At most, it reaches a temperature of 950 Fahrenheit, which is only half the temperature of regular lava. When a local tour guide fell into this volcano while showing tourists around, he managed to quickly climb out of it. The lower temperatures essentially saved his life. He didn't come out of it unscathed, but at least he's alive to live another day. Well, that's the end of the craziness. Have you ever scaled a volcano? What was your experience like? Let us know in the comments. Also, be sure to hit the like button, share and subscribe. Goodbye.